And I'm here with a very special guest. As you all know, naka-quarantine po tayo lahat and we are forced to stay at home. My guest for today is Mr. Willy Chua, who is a businessman, a very accomplished businessman. Also, really one of the best leaders that I've worked with, and is very much involved in the ministry also, being part of the core team of our The Market Project, which is a ministry of our church, Victory Green Hills, to the marketplace. And he's also an accomplished best-selling author of many books, including Harvesting in Famine, Treasures Within Reach,
Thanks, living.
Thanks Living, right? Three very good books that has helped me, by the way, and that's why I'm interviewing him dahil malaman to, no? May value yung content ni Mr. Willy Chua. And maybe let's jump off first. Maybe you can greet the people who are watching and introduce yourself, who you are, what you do.
Hi, my name is Willy Chua, and just like all of you, I live in the Philippines, and I am affected by what is going on around us now. And this is the time when I have to dig deep into my spirit to really see if I can apply the faith that I have learned. You see, the gospel is not MP3. In other words, it's not just audio where you just talk nice, talk right. The gospel is MP4. It should include video. So people has to see us living out our faith, especially at a time like this.
Yes,
Not just talk about it.
Yeah, very trying times to, no, for us because as Christians, we preach about faith, we preach about believing God, we preach about healing. Ito na, andito tayo ngayon sa situation that is out of our hands. But then, how do we keep calm and maintain the peace in the midst of all this turmoil out there? Willy, I know you are a businessman and you are very much in touch in the marketplace. Alam natin yung mga forecast economically for the Philippines also because of what's happening. It's been months now na affected from China pa lang. Medyo may effect na sa economy natin. And now the virus has come here. And what can you say about the situation now? And what should be our reaction?
Well, if you ask most people, they will say that things will go from bad to worse. But one way to arrest this really is how we respond and react to this. You see, the bigger problem, there's a bigger problem than the virus. And that is our reaction to the news of the virus.
True.
And when our reaction is triggered by fear, then we tend to overreact. You mentioned earlier about one of my books, Harvesting in Famine. There's a chapter there when I said your problem is not the problem. What we think is the problem is not really our problem. It's our reaction to that problem that is causing the problem. And that will complicate the situation and create more problems. So right now, we have all heard about people hoarding and stocking more than what they need. And as believers in a time like this, we have to remember while there's panic in the market, God is still our provider. And just like in the wilderness, when God told the Israelites that you only stock manna enough for the day, unless it's in preparation for the Sabbath. And basically, that is an act of faith, trusting and articulating, acting out our faith that the Lord who provided for me this morning will also be providing for me tomorrow. And so that way, when we understand that and we make this a decision of faith, we will not tend to buy too much. And so other people will have things to buy, then you don't worsen the situation.
True. What do you say to mga business people ngayon? Parang sabi nila, nako, etong ano natin, negosyo natin, patay na. Because I've been receiving so many messages now on my Viber and my Facebook na talaga namang very bleak yung forecast nila, no? And I think they're preparing for it. They're preparing for the reality of some things. And I think in the past 2 hours since we're taking this video, sobrang dami, no exaggeration. Sobrang dami na namang lumalabas na messages ngayon na may chaos na sa street, binubuksan na yung mga pintuan, nandiyan na yung mga magnanakaw. How do we respond to this? Sabi mo nga kanina, fear begets the fear, no? How we respond to it. So how should I respond now hearing all this news and some of them are legit, they're not fake news?
Yes. One of the things also, especially as the marketplace people, is in a situation like this, our focus is very important. While things look bleak, there are also opportunity. When we can look past the apparent bleak future, you begin to see opportunity there. Because the truth is, when this is all over, people still have to eat, people still have to transact, people still have to buy and sell. And so there's nothing has changed except that understandably, a lot of people will probably close shops. And these are mostly those people who panic because they are preparing for the worst case scenario. They cut and they try to cut their losses. Look beyond the approaching crisis, and we will begin to position ourselves so that when the market rebounds, we will be there to ride the wave, so to speak.
Good advice. No, so parang ang ibig mo bang sabihin is like even for business people now and those who are entrepreneurs, what should they do now? Of course, syempre, yeah, they're thinking about cutting costs. How do you balance that with faith? Na when you say preparing, like what are some specific examples you can give?
This is the time when we make sure that we do not maintain a myopic, a short-term perspective, that we look beyond. If you ask them, everybody's preparing for things to worsen, probably for this quarantine to even be extended. But then, it will not be forever. If we look beyond that, look beyond even assuming that it gets extended 2 more weeks or more, things will have to, a vaccine will have to come out, a cure will have to come out. And by then, what are you going to do? So we have to look not too short a term, but rather look farther, and we will begin positioning. Because some of them started letting go of their people. By that, they are not contributing to the situation. They are worsening the situation because you create more joblessness and more desperate people. Yeah. And they have forgotten that after this, they will be needing people. But if you take this opportunity, take good care of your people, true, you may have to spend a little bit more in the short term. But then, these people will not forget it. You have invested in them. When the market rebounds, they will be willing to go that extra distance for you.
True. I think they would appreciate it more na in times of crisis, inalagaan mo sila. You took care of your people rather than letting them go, bite the loss for a few months, but then later on, trusting in God's faithfulness, makaka-rebound din yung negosyo. Even the market would turn back to normal. So I think very good advice yun, no, na this is where leadership is really tested, no? And I think this is crisis leadership, no? Leadership in crisis. Dito mo makikita sino yung mga boss na magaling, o mga leaders na magaling, at yung mga leaders na very emotional lang at nagpapanik. So ikaw, you run a very big company. You're managing a lot of people. What's your emotion towards the situation?
First is to calm them down, to assure them. We don't just assure them that they get to keep their job. We assure them that even their personal requirements will be taken care of. Their personal requirement as well as their family. We have some security guards in the past when there was a flood that hit the northern Luzon. And when I found out that a lot of our security guards have family up there, We sent two teams with two truckloads of stuff, got their address, and went there. And when the guards found out that although they were in duty, we reached out to their respective families. We made sure we did not just give them cash. Of course, we gave them cash. We gave them food stuff. We gave them load for their cell phone so they can call. We gave them a set of clothes. You get them food, and some of them even utensils because they lost everything. And when those security guards found out that they need that worry because we have actually went to their homes to check on their families. Wow, the impact, and you can almost immediately see the improvement in their work. Suddenly they are no longer worried because that has been taken care of. They can do their jobs 100%, and then their attitude changed because they stop looking at the relationship with the employer as just a transactional relationship. And now you don't have to worry about loyalty, about quality, because we have taken care of them. And
Yeah.
on our part, our decision to do that is really an expression of our faith. Our decision to do that is our expression of our belief in love or charity, loving kindness. Our action by doing that is an act of faith. Say, Lord, mukhang mababawasan yung kikitain ko. Nevertheless, this act of kindness, I consider a seed that I am going to sow. They may never be able to pay me back, but there is a God, and He is God of the harvest. And I have never regretted that, and I continue to enjoy the harvest of goodwill and good people. We are blessed with many good people because the Lord used this opportunity and used His people to touch lives. And because they have tasted that, now they are curious about the God I believe. They are curious about which church I go to. They are curious, and now that's why we have so many people getting saved in the workplace. We have almost every company in our complex. We have Bible studies. We have people active in the church, even in Victory, Pampanga, and it's because of that.
Yeah. So parang they see now not just a proclamation of the message of Jesus, but a demonstration of God's love through us. And I think this is very important. No?
Yes.
What are some verses, when you speak, there's so much wisdom in it. What are some verses that we need to hold on to in times like this? Maybe share a couple of verses that could help us be in faith and to look beyond the now and look towards the future.
Two verses that I remember. One is in Genesis chapter 26. Again, verses 1 to 6. But I want to dwell on verse 6. No, Genesis 26, verse 6. It's a very short verse. It says, "And Isaac stayed in Gerar." Now, Gerar, it's so short, but that shows obedience. The context of the story is that there was a famine in the land, and Isaac wanted to relocate to look for greener pasture. But God stopped him and said that, "Hey, we have a covenant. Why don't you, have you considered me? You haven't even given me the opportunity to move in your life." So what happened after the Lord appeared to him is he stayed in Gerar. While it is very short, that is a very deep and very eloquent expression of faith and obedience. He showed so much faith and obedience that he stayed. There was no argument, no drama about it. He just okay, and he stayed. Obedience doesn't have to be a major production. It's just a simple act of okay, you said it. I like the English word for obedience to explain what is obedience. Obedience consists of 9 letters. OBEDIENCE. The middle of this 9 is the 3 letters DIE. In the middle of the word die is letter I. So to obey, the I in me should die. Yeah. So if I will just subdue my ego, my fear, my concern, my strategic plan, and just said, okay, Lord, you said it. This is the right thing to do. I'll obey you. I have faith in you. I know that you will see me through. And that is how he eventually get to reap a hundredfold return, which he also shared with other people. And the other things that other verse is in Mark chapter 4, verse 14. I like the Passion Translation. In the Passion Translation, uh, Mark 4:14 says that the farmer sowed the word as seed. We forget our word, kind words, words of hope. Right now, everybody is talking about the problem. Nobody is talking about hope. Nobody is talking about, the goodness of God. So the word of our mouth not only affect the people around us and stirring up the wrong reaction, we also influence ourselves. We also condition ourselves to start looking at the problem instead of creating space for God to move.
Galing. Grabe. I think you are one of those people who can make a message out of Isaac stayed at Gerar. Galing mo na. Right? Again, yung introduction mo, I think this is the good parting words now for the people listening to this. This is where our faith is going to be tested. All our head knowledge about God, His faithfulness, signs and wonders, power ni Lord, ang bait ni Lord, grace lang talaga ni Lord. Lahat ng mga favorite expression natin, lalo na yung mga Christians na lagi na sa church, this is the time to actually
use the time.
No, sobra akong convicted sa interview na to. It's so full. I know so many will be blessed by what you shared tonight. And I'm thankful for people like you who doesn't live in a narrative of fear, but there's always faith. There's always something to hope for and believe God for in the coming days ahead. May last words ka ba, Willy, for our...
In Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1, it says that arise, shine. That is a command given to Israel or to the people of God. Arise, shine, and let the glory stream from us. This is the world's darkest hour, but this should be the church's brightest moment. And again, we all have the glory of God in us. All we have to do is allow the goodness of God to flow out of us, allow the peace of God to flow out of us, and allow the light of God to flow out of us. And we will be surprised just by walking in faith and obedience. We start changing and impacting positively the people around us. And that's how we contribute to the resolution of the situation.
All right. I think you heard it loud and clear. It's very straightforward. It's something that we all need to hear. Erase nyo na lahat ng mga negative Viber messages at saka Facebook message. Huwag kayo doon mag-meditate. I think good to meditate on the Word of God. Listen to videos like this. Get to read a book that would inspire you and uplift your faith during times of quarantine. And you heard it from a man who is in the marketplace, who is in the business field. But look at how refreshing he looks like now. Walang takot, walang fear in his eyes, knowing and believing that God is faithful. So if this video has blessed you, if this conversation has blessed you, please do share it to your friends. Ito dapat yung sinishare nyo mga videos, yung mga ganitong messages that would inspire us to believe God for greater things. And so please do like and subscribe our page, Act Like a Man, and know for sure that every week, habang naka-quarantine kami, we'll be dishing out more interviews like this to inspire you, to uplift you, and to bring courage in your heart. So stay strong. Kaya natin to. Babangon ang Pilipinas. God bless you. Thank you, Willy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
God bless you. God bless you.
God bless you. Bye-bye.